Hey everyone, Ruben here, Country Dog PDX. So we're here in our next video, next installment of basically our quarantine series. So in this next video, we're going to be getting into leash pressure sits. So why do we want to teach our dog a leash pressure sit? Well, it goes to the idea that we don't want to have to use food all the time to get our dogs to comply with what we ask. And it also, for us, in our training program, it encompasses the bigger picture, of like a comprehensive understanding of the leash, right? Like utilizing the leash and having the dog understand that is incredibly important because it really just fits into like every aspect of what the dog is doing, right? Because the leash gives me the ability to give the dog direction. So what we're going to be doing with this is utilizing leash pressure, but also utilizing the dog's food to reinforce that that choice, that completion of the command. And so again, this is just part of like the comprehensive approach to having the dog understand what leash pressure guidance means, okay? And the dog having a really good understanding of the leash is going to just help us in a multitude of areas. One of those big areas would be like leash reactivity, and so the following is going to be, I'm going to grab one of my dogs, and then we're just going to demonstrate really what it looks like to introduce this concept. And then we'll also get into how you can start incorporating it in, say, the place work from our last video. Okay, so here that goes. All right, so when it comes to leash pressure downs, leash pressure sits. So what's going to happen is we're going to apply leash pressure straight up, okay? And you're not trying to lift the dog's legs off the ground or anything crazy like that. You're just applying slow, steady pressure straight up, okay? Maybe you've got to take your hand, 2 fingers, and push down on their butt ever so slightly. And it's not like a push, it's more like helpful guidance, okay? So we're not trying to like push her butt down because you might just get resistance, right? So what that could look like, if Lucy's like standing up like this, maybe I apply the pressure, and maybe it's something like that. It could be that simple. But the point is that we want to apply that pressure first so that the dog is feeling it. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to try to figure out how to turn that off, right? So the dog is now problem solving this problem. It would be no different as like the dog is trying to figure out how to cross the stream. They're like looking at it, I don't really want to cross over the stream. Oh, but there's a tree log that I can crawl over. It's all about problem solving. And so that's what this is doing, is the dog is learning how to problem solve on how to get rid of this slight pressure that they feel. So let me position ourselves to the side here, right? So you're too good at this. Yes. And as soon as I get that, I'm going to yes the dog out of it. Yes. Yes. Okay. So again, it's light, steady leash pressure, straight up. When the dog's butt hits the ground, I'm giving them the leash back. I'm literally like throwing it back to the dog so that it's very clear that the pressure has gone away. And when their butt hits the ground, I'm going to yes them out of it and give them some of their food, right? So again, you should be doing this with their daily kibble, okay? So now, let's say we move forward a couple of steps, all right? So we got the dog and they're feeling really nicely with the leash pressure sit, where it's like, I barely have to do anything and the dog does what I'm asking for. Good. So now this is where the markers come into play, right? So in that plays video, we talked about introducing the good marker. So dog sat, good. Now I'm going to come and give the food to her, okay? And now this is where we can actually start incorporating some light distractions. And just like in that previous place video, we're going to start it off really small and easy for the dog to be successful. And just because you might be able to do walk-arounds when the dog is on place, don't expect to do that right away, right here. Go back to the basics and let your dog be successful with that. So the first one might just be a simple step back. When I do this, I gotta make sure I step back to them. Good. And then I'll give her some food. Okay. Yes. And then I'll yes them out. I like to do that after like every distraction that we do, at least initially. Good. As we move along, maybe I can do step arounds. Good. One thing to keep in mind with that is if your dog is continually breaking out of their sit, you're going to want to break that circle down, right? So maybe it's just a quarter turn. Good. Okay. And then you would break that down. So maybe it takes you 5 times to go around, like 5 little steps in order to make a full circle. All right? Yes. But it's important that when you ask for that distraction that you do, when you're doing that distraction work, like if I step back, I need to step forward again to the dog, okay? And so now let's say Lucy breaks out of the sit. I do my distraction, nope, okay? And then I go back to my distraction, good, yes, okay? Because I want to make sure she knows that that was the wrong choice. Let me put you back, and then this is the right choice, so that this way she can be successful, right? But again, if your dog is breaking a lot of times, your distraction might be too much too fast, okay? So take your time with that. Again, you want them to be successful, because that's how they're going to be learning what you want from them, all right? So again, just to recap, the sit is light leash pressure straight up, okay? When that's looking really nicely, then you can start to name it, okay? And so what that would look like is I would say the word first, and then the leash comes after that, all right? So what that would look like, sit, and then the leash comes up, okay? Yes. Sit. Good. Yes. Sit. Good. Uh-oh. So she downed on me right there, right? So now I'm just gonna like get her out of that. Sit. Good. Start over. Yes. We're out of food at this moment, but sit. Good. Right? So right there was a good example of saying the word first, and then my leash guidance comes up. All right? Yes. So one more time. Sit. Good. So again, you know, and if you run into that, and you very well might, you know, it's just a matter of taking some steps forward and getting the dog out of the down. Okay. Yes. So that is how we would go about teaching leash pressure sit. And again, you know, you can use this before place, right? So you can have your cot out in front. So if we got our, you know, our place bed or whatever, let's go, Luke. Sit. Good. Place. Good. Okay. But this is how you can start to just slow the dog down a little bit instead of them maybe trying to rush on the place. It's all part of working them mentally, right? You're just slowing everything down, which is super important. So, all right. So to recap, light, steady pressure, straight up. When the dog's butt hits the ground, you give them the leash back to release the pressure. And then when their butt hits the ground, you yes them out of it until you build that up, until the dog is really soft on the leash. And then when you barely have to do any pressure, you don't even have to use 2 fingers on their butt or anything, it's just very light. Then you can start to name that command, okay? And then you can start incorporating the good marker, getting some duration in there, start adding in some distractions. One thing I like to note about distractions is I would probably keep it at like a maximum of 5 goods before you yes the dog out. So if you're doing distraction, be like good, 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 yes. All right. I don't want to overdo it too much, okay? Because then if your dog breaks command, then you kind of have to do all of that stuff over again. So you want to be really mindful of your distraction regimen, I guess, if that's the right word for it. So again, one more time, leash pressure straight up. When it's really light and soft, you can start to name the command, and then at that moment you can start to incorporate it before place work. You can start to add in the good marker for duration, and if your dog gets out of it, you're just going to say nope, step in, light leash pressure. And just a real caveat on that real quick is like your body is starting to become a part of this equation. So when you step in and you said nope and you do the leash pressure, eventually your dog is going to understand that you stepping into them is a part of this like equation, and your dog will start to respond just to your spatial pressure. So you're like nope, you step in, and then probably that's enough to put them back into what they were just doing, right? And if that wasn't clear before, nope means stop what you're doing and go back to what you were just doing, okay? So anyways, that's our leash pressure sit video. If you all have any questions about this, as always, you know, you can hit us up and we can talk about it. And you know, if you find this helpful, please share it, like it, and this way other people can benefit from this as well. And also, you know, we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, you know, we're on all those things, just putting out information. So like, subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff there. All right, so anyways, that is our leash pressure sit video, and as always, happy training.